It's 6:45 a.m. She sat in traffic like a mad hatter at a tea party from hell, fingers tapping the steering wheel while every car around her moved like they had just learned how the roads worked 5 minutes ago. Late again. Not irresponsibly late. Not I overslept and forgot adulthood existed late. No, the kind of late born from living too far from an opportunity and too close to survival. 2 hours on the road just to make enough money to barely breathe. Immediately she could hear the voices. Leave earlier, people say. Maybe you should move closer, people say. Everybody got a quick fix sermon for problems they ain't financing. Nobody offering gas money. Nobody offering cheaper rent. Nobody offering peace. She loved her job, honestly. Loved the creativity, loved the rhythm of it. But the commute, this commute was slowly turning her into a villain origin story with a full tank of gas and a fading prayer life. And why was everybody driving like they spawned into traffic for the first time today? Cars drifting between lanes like confused Roombas. Nobody signaling, nobody committing. Hell, one man slowed down in the middle of the highway like he suddenly remembered he had free will. You wasn't getting over 30 seconds ago, she muttered. Now all of a sudden you need this lane like oxygen. Her blinker clicked furiously while 3 different cars pretended not to see it. Funny how folks become legally blind the second somebody else needs space. She exhaled hard. It's only 7:03. All she wanted to do was to turn around, go back home, crawl under the covers, take 2 deep breaths, and work on her own dreams instead of fighting traffic to help build somebody else's. But instead, she zigzagged through lanes like a busted zipper trying to hold together a life that kept falling apart at the seams. And that's when this thought hit her. Maybe purpose ain't always loud and beautiful. Maybe sometimes purpose looks like pressure. Other people's emergencies pressing pause on your destiny, while other people's timelines stretching your spirit thin. Everything designed to distract you from your own greatness while convincing you it's responsibility. The GPS rerouted, like it was emotionally exhausted already. Somewhere ahead, another brake light bloomed red like a warning from God himself. More traffic. Still miles away. Traffic ahead, traffic behind, traffic somehow existing on the detour. This can't be life, she whispered. Immediately, her brain started creating toxic motivational quotes under stress like she was a sleep-deprived life coach trapped in a traffic jam. But of course, prim and proper. Dreams don't work unless you aggressively switch lanes. Apparently, success is really just anxiety wearing business casual. This delay is temporary, unlike your car note. Now she done turned the whole commute into a spiritual warfare sermon. I rebuke this congestion in the mighty name of Premier Unleaded. Hell, I just spent $5.19 a gallon trying to fill up this little Chevy Spark. Thanks, America. No weapon formed against me shall merge prosperously, unless you use your blinker. Other than that, keep your ass in that other lane. Traffic was moving so slow, it looked like somebody's funeral procession or escaping a broken dream to a final resting place. And the crazy part? Do you want to know the crazy part? Ain't nothing up there. No stop signs, no construction, no accident, no police, no geese crossing the road. Nothing. Just 37 cars participating in unnecessary suffering together. We're on the highway, she groaned. Why are we moving like somebody auntie leading the church anniversary march? Just then, the clock blinked 7:24. Her shift begins at 9. And according to the GPS, we were still over an hour away. At this point, the GPS wasn't giving directions no more. It was issuing emotional damage. Now, see, what irritated her spirit was the fact she left early. Not fake early either. Not let me throw my shoes on and hope for the best early. She left responsible adult black woman early. Weather checking early. Gas tank check early. Double check the badge and make sure you got your cell phone and work bag early. Sit in the car for a minute before pulling off early. Yet, still trapped. Apparently, an overturned truck and one confused soul with the survival instincts of an unplugged toaster decided this was the perfect day to drive the wrong direction on the highway. How? She said, shaking her head. How do you drive the wrong way with every single car facing you looking concerned? People really survive adulthood off of confidence alone. No awareness, no instincts, no context clues, just vibes and a driver license. Traffic crawled forward another inch and stopped again. At this point, a snail could have been baptized, brought property, raised twins, and retired comfortably before the lane opened up again. She tightened both hands on the steering wheel. I don't have road rage, she muttered. I got road rules of engagement. Honestly, cars should be made out of Tupperware. That way, when somebody's driving dumb, you could gently boot their vehicle into a nearby parking lot till they calm down and rethink their decisions. No injuries, just reflections. You'll pop back out in 30 minutes. And why do people refuse to use their turn signals? Folks switch lanes like raccoons fighting over mozzarella sticks behind Wawa's dumpster. No warning, no blinkers, no eye contact, just chaos. I mean, damn, at least stick your hand out the window like it's 1987 and let people know your next move. You know, up, down, straight out. The GPS rerouted again. It's 7:56 a.m. Tick, tick. Traffic ahead, traffic behind, traffic on the detour, traffic probably parked inside somebody's living room at this point. What is so special about this Friday? She asked the universe. Did everybody suddenly discover employment overnight? The car next to her rolled forward a half centimeter like it deserved a community service award. The dashboard clock kept blinking like a threat. Every second sounded less like time and more like a countdown to a write-up she absolutely did not have PTO for. Again, the GPS is rerouting. Damn, I think this thing is schizophrenic. Estimated time arrival, 9:15. She stared at that phone like it owed her some child support. Fuck that. The GPS knows her, but they don't know her like she knows her. GPS believe in highways and order. She believes in side streets, illegal confidence, and spiritual power of catching green lights in succession like unlocked blessings. So now she's cutting through old routes, the whooping and whooshing roads, the neighborhood cheat codes, the if the school bus ain't on the corner and the kids haven't come out the house yet, I can make it around path. Or so she thinks. Traffic moving slow but steady, while Bob Marley singing through the speakers about concrete jungle, while her city's waking up angry and undercaffeinated. Random thought. Why old people clocks used to be so loud? Like tick, tick, tick. Granddaddy's old pocket watch sounded like it was counting down to Judgment Day. Nobody back then believed in quiet luxury. Everything had a noise. The clocks, the radiators, the plastic on the couch, the hard candies in the bowl. Anyway, that's the thing about driving. It turns your brain into a soup pot. Thoughts just floating around in there, bumping into each other. 1 minute you calculating mileage, the next minute you're questioning infrastructure and capitalism. Like, why every daycare got a giant butterfly on the wall? Or a ladybug? Who decided children automatically love insects? Some kids see a butterfly and think, beautiful. Other kids see a butterfly and think, oh God, flying anxiety. And why are all daycares packed into one tiny block like it's a daycare district nobody asked for? 2 daycares across the street from each other, 1 after-school program, and a hair salon. 0 parking. Parents double park like they auditioned in Demolition Derby at 8 a.m. Location matters. That's what people don't understand. You can have the best daycare in the world, but if parents got a parallel park using prayer and geometry, every morning, your reviews are going to suffer. See, now, she got ideas. A daycare near a bank, a bus stop, and a school? Smart. Parents could handle 3 errands without burning a half a tank of gas and losing their sanity. And decent parking? Baby, you could charge premium prices just off convenience alone. That's how people with money think. But money also takes money, and currently, She didn't have 2 wooden nickels and a plastic spoon to rub together with her debt. Life be humbling like that. 7:56 a.m. Enter Janet Jackson. When I think of you floating through the speaker smooth as satin pajamas, suddenly traffic don't feel as disrespectful. Old school Janet got a way of making brake lights feel romantic. She tapping the steering wheel, little shoulder bop, little finger snap at the red light, lip gloss confidence slowly returning. The GPS rerouting again. Girl, please. But see, this ain't just a commute. This is a rolling TED Talk, a therapy session with potholes, a documentary sponsored by caffeine and unpaid dreams. And somewhere between the side streets, daycare observations, and Janet Jackson harmonies, she was still trying to figure out if she's headed to work or just driving through another chapter of becoming somebody else. Then Prince arrived spiritually, his falsetto vibrating through the speakers. She knew for a fact if it were possible for that man to show physically, he would have floated in with a silk blouse smelling like expensive rainwater and emotional decisions. And this woman was not going to work. She would be grooving with the international man of mystery. First song, Raspberry Beret. Now the car is transforming. Traffic still ugly, bills still due. GPS still lying through his teeth. But suddenly she got rhythm in her neck again. Now she's driving one hand on the wheel like she is a music video nobody funded but God. And Prince music always sounds like somebody smiling while being emotionally dangerous. That's why it works for morning drives. It makes you feel mysterious even when you got lint on your pants, coffee breath, and a gas tank that seems to be dropping steadily with each tire revolution. Let's see what else we can listen to by Prince, she said. Let's get it in the queue. I want to be your lover. Kiss. Gotta have a door. And a little red Corvette. No Purple Rain before work. Absolutely not. That song turns a commute into a funeral procession for every heartbreak you survived since 1997. You be sitting in the parking lot staring into space, rethinking your entire bloodline. We need groove, not emotional collapse before clock in. Then, somewhere around 8:17 a.m., enter Sade. Baby, now the windshield got emotional lighting. Now she gliding through traffic instead of fighting it. And for a tiny moment, she forgot she was stressed. And when the sweetest taboo comes on, ooh, that song don't walk in, it leans in the doorway. That bass line alone can make somebody forgive taxes. So let's see what we can add to this, she said. Let's get a little Cherish the Day in the queue. No Ordinary Love, Smooth Operator, and By Your Side. Maybe, Is It a Crime? The GPS reroutes again. Girl, shut up. Every 2 seconds, you telling me that my time is getting further and further away, even though I am moving closer and closer. Now frustration's rising again. Enter Missy Elliott. Specifically, gossip folks. Nothing resets road rage like early 2000s bass and a petty confidence. And why every slow driver speed up only when you try to pass them? That's psychological warfare. You were perfectly comfortable going 43 miles an hour until I moved over. Now suddenly you auditioning for NASCAR. Meanwhile, the fast lane looked like a support group for people terrified of acceleration. Why are you here if you don't believe in speed? Move, respectfully. The closer she got to work, the worse the traffic became. That's the cruel part. You can see the destination. It's 8:41 a.m. But physically reaching it becomes mythology. Now her brain begins drifting again. Like, why sneezing automatically closes your eyes? And if you try to keep them open, it feels like your eyes are going to explode. Then she remembered the radio host asking, if you had no ears, could you wear glasses? Yes. A headband. Boom. Solved it. Next question. And do workers from a tea factory secretly drink coffee? Do the people at the Coca-Cola company sneak and sip Pepsi products in private like forbidden lovers because they know how their product is really made? Do dentists eat now-laters? Do they even brush the recommended amount of times they insist we do? I mean, questions that matter. Like, who created silent letters? Because honestly, I feel like somebody misspelled something centuries ago, and instead of correcting it, they gaslit the entire English language. No, sorry, darling. The K is silent. Silent why? Decoration? If letters unemployed, they should fade into the background, respectfully. And why it took people 20 years to understand Lil Wayne saying real G's move in silence like lasagna? That line by Lil Wayne was so advanced, people had to spiritually mature into understanding it. That man stacked puns like pancakes on brunch. Honestly, somebody needs to study his brain in a laboratory. Here's another question. Why every post office gigantic for no reason? Built like a courthouse. But inside, 2 workers, 1 customer, and 1 line rope from 1984. And somehow 1 employee always on break no matter what time you get there. 8:02 a.m. break. 11:47 a.m. break. 2:15 p.m. Oh, she just stepped away. Stepped away where? To another dimension? Bom, bom. Oh, traffic finally moving now. Barely. Then an ambulance screamed behind her. Woo, 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 woo. Everybody panicking. Cars climbing curbs. One lady halfway in somebody's azalea bushes trying to cooperate with society. And the ambulance moving slow as refrigerated gravy. Now hold on. Why emergency vehicles built like they got asthma? Fire trucks should be moving like McLaren P1s on a race mode. Ambulances should have engines that sound like divine intervention. Police cars should be equipped with teleportation and unresolved anger. But no. They make all this dramatic noise just to creep through traffic like somebody auntie pushing a shopping cart with 1 bad wheel. The ambulance finally passed her and somehow still looked undecided. Lights flashing, sirens screaming, vehicle crawling. Now she was suspicious. Was this really an emergency? Or you just ain't feel like waiting at the red light with the rest of us peasants? Because conveniently, the lights only came on once traffic got thick. That's interesting. And once they got ahead of everybody, still driving slow. See, now her brain's spiraling because if she ever needed help, she don't want a hesitant ambulance. No, I want a Fast and Furious medical edition. If I'm bleeding out, do not arrive casually. I need tire smoke. I need drifting. I need paramedics hanging on the side like it's an action movie. Don't pull up leisurely like you delivering a couch from IKEA. Save me with urgency. And fire trucks? Baby, them things loud as hell and somehow still move like a 10-speed bike with a playing card stuck in the spokes. All noise, minimal acceleration. Like, sir, please, somebody's kitchen's actively dissolving. Now, we ride again, just in time for Pennsylvania to do what Pennsylvania does best. Confuse the hell out of geography. 1 minute you see in row homes, then you see in warehouses, construction cones reproducing in captivity, then boom, a farm. Horses standing there emotionally available, a donkey chewing thoughtfully, little sheep on a hill minding business better than most humans. And she's sitting at the light wondering why old McDonald lived directly beside a vape store and a tire shop. Reality don't transition properly no more. Everything feels shuffled together. Luxury apartments beside struggle, organic farms near pollution, people blasting gospel music while road raging. Nothing matches. Yet somehow everything still exists together. And maybe that's why the drive feels so strange. Because every morning the road reminds her that life itself ain't organized neatly. It just throws cows, Janet Jackson, potholes, sirens, brake lights, and existential questions into one moving sentence and tells you, hey, figure it out before your shift starts. "8:57 a.m. Now the commute is entering its final boss level. Because technically, she's only 3 minutes away from work. 3. But physically, she might as well be in another state. The exit to the job backed up with at least 33 cars and one traffic light blinking like it got commitment issues. 3 cars make the green light, then immediately red. We get no yellow. Now everybody inching forward like exhausted caterpillars with car insurance. The GPS talking reckless again. Estimated arrival, 9:17. From here? She said with disgust. As she inched forward, 9:21. A little bit more, 9:25. As I thought, this GPS got schizophrenia, she said annoyed. Just shut up. There's no way these 2 streets are going to hold me up that long. Enter Elvis Crespo, echoing through the speakers. As she arrives at the bottleneck of the business center at 9 a.m. on the dot. Suavemente, bésame. Instantly, she smiled for the first time this whole ride. Because every good morning playlist needs one song that makes you feel like your hips got citizenship somewhere tropical. However, in that moment, she realized that workplaces always built like sports arenas. Huge parking lots stretching into neighboring dimensions. By the time she finally reached the lot, all the closed spaces were gone. Now she's parking somewhere near migrating geese, broken dreams, in section H47. That walk from the parking lot to the building, that ain't a walk. That's a pilgrimage. Especially when your spirit already clocked out before your body clocked in. And underneath all those jokes sat the heavier truth. She was tired. Not sleepy tired. Life tired. Tired of constantly traveling between survival and purpose, between exhaustion and responsibility, between paying bills and trying to remember who she used to be outside of obligations. Every day felt like the world design system specifically meant to keep her down and drained so she could not become what she actually wanted to be. The engine ticked softly after she parked. It's 9:08 a.m. Coffee cup empty except melted ice and broken promises. For one brief second, she thought about just driving away. Not forever, necessarily. Just long enough to sit near water somewhere, eat breakfast slowly, listen to Sade, become a mysterious woman in a chef jacket at the beach. But instead, she checked herself in the mirror. Bag, check. Lip gloss, check. Spirit, spicy and mildly seasoned. Then she stepped out of the car like a warrior entering battle. Because sometimes strength doesn't look inspirational. Sometimes strength looks like showing up no matter what you had to go through. And as she walked toward the building at 9:17 a.m., she whispered softly, "You got this. We are going to have a good day."